Hello and welcome to Activenet Bites. Today I'm really pleased to be joined by Neil Bland from Leisure Energy. Now Neil's actually coming to both events, Crieff Hydro on the 7th of September and also Eastwood Hall in Nottingham on the 29th and 30th of March 22. And there's a really good reason for Neil's attendance because Neil is one of those people that I always turn to when I need advice and guidance on this subject. Welcome Neil, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much.
Good, excellent. You always are. You always have a great smile. You're always happy. Really like talking to you. So, Neil, the reason for asking you to do this today is, of course, the CPD theme for Activenet this year is net carbon zero. So what does that actually mean to us as operators?
So there's quite a lot of growing scientific and anecdotal evidence of climate change. The last few weeks of July, I live down in London now, although you probably can't guess it from the accent. And there was wildfires in central London, which is just absolutely unheard of. I grew up, as you can probably tell, north of Manchester, and that's areas where we have regular flooding now that never used to happen. So even if you don't believe in climate change, it doesn't really matter because it is kind of happening. The government themselves have announced net zero targets. So the UK is going to be net zero by 2050. The Scottish government have obviously tried to outdo them, and they're trying to do it by 2045. At a more local level, the local authorities have announced climate emergencies, and they're actually aiming for net zero by 2030. Now, 2030 sounds like it's ages away. It's actually 7.5 years. So if you were to go back in time 7.5 years, that's the same as 2016. Now, to me, 2016 feels like it was 5 minutes ago. So it really shows that we don't have a lot of time to do this, to hit these targets. The other thing at the moment, we're seeing rocketing utility prices. So even if you don't believe in climate change, you do believe in getting your gas and electricity bills every month, and they are going through the roof. So one of the things is the obvious global socio-economic issues. But what that means in real terms is that leisure centres are pretty much knackered when it comes to their costs. So what we want to do is really help them reduce their costs and reduce their carbon footprints, because those buildings are probably the biggest CO2 emitters that the local authorities have.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a real challenge. I'm working with a local authority at the moment that has this big concern about how they're going to hit their targets because their swimming pools do create a lot of carbon. So that's a really interesting point. So as most, hopefully some of our viewers know and some of our new viewers don't, we actually schedule one-to-one meetings between our suppliers, people like yourself, and our buyers, the operators, the people that are coming along. So when you get your chance to have your sort of 20-minute one-to-one meet, Neil, what sort of things are you going to be talking to operators about?
So it's basically what we can do to help them to try and hit those targets, reduce those energy bills and things like that. And what we actually do is it's everything from that one-stop shop of the initial chat and an energy audit and a desktop study of their energy consumption, all the way through to installation of potentially multi-million-pound energy-saving measures. And we can also sometimes help with funding options through various government schemes, etc., etc. So it really is that what we can do to help you guys, to give you a bit of education. You might be very new to this. You might have been doing it for decades already. I've been doing it 20 odd years. So as you rightly know, I'm a bit of an energy geek when it comes to that. So I can happily talk at a very, very, specific thing. But if it's your first time talking about climate change and sustainability, absolutely, we can go to the real basic level of those simple things that you might be able to do that will save you money straight away. Those low cost, simple solutions that we can help with.
Yeah, and it is those simple things. Like we'll post this out on social media. There'll be links to you and to your business so people can find you. But it's just like the QR code in your background, isn't it? Just using a QR code instead of printed material can make a difference.
Exactly. It's something we've moved to over the last 6 months. My marketing manager isn't happy, but frankly, that's irrelevant, I think. So this QR code here will take you straight to the case studies on our website. And we're trying to stop printing them because the case studies evolve and the next year they're out of date. We're doing another great project. We don't want to be throwing those away or even recycling them if we can not waste that energy in the first place. And that's what it's really all about, not wasting that energy in the first place. Simple things that you might even do at home. You don't leave the lights on all day in your kitchen. You probably don't. You may have teenage kids who do, but that's a different story. And those are the sort of things that we can try and, convert those into. You do this at home, you try and do this at work as well, or think about that bigger picture.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, Neil. Thank you. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people really wanting to speak to you. So we may have to organise some extra meetings for you at the event, which will be great. So you're coming to both events. You're coming to this one in September and the one in March. So why have you chosen Activenet? Why? What's the opportunity?
I think Activenet is a really great place to be, because it's the two-way street. You guys back at Activenet, you put in a lot of effort, a lot of work of finding the right people. So, for example, as we know, I'm an energy geek. I'm the right guy to speak to, and you have lots of other different suppliers of different technical stuff. It isn't just some snake oil salesman. You know, there's a lot of guys in the energy industry that will sell you something. We're almost pre-qualified to be there through the awards that we win, and you know, and the case studies that we talk to you about and things like that. But that's actually, it's two-way as well, that I know I'm not going to be going there wasting my time talking to people who are, you know, just going there for the sake of being at a meeting for a nice fun day out. You know, this is a really it's going to be a technical day. Everybody learns a lot. I'll learn about the clients, they'll learn about me and those other suppliers that you have. So for me, it's that time saving of I'm not knocking on doors trying to prove to people who I am. You've already done that. You're introducing me to them. They're being introduced to me. And that really does save us a lot of time and effort. We don't have a big marketing team. So using people like yourself on that two-way street is really what it's all about.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Neil, and thank you for being part of Activenet, both as a speaker and as a supplier. And of course, you'll be supported from that speaker point of view by Community Leisure UK, by UK Active, and also by the Scottish Leisure Network group. So there'll be some really interesting contributions to that piece. So, Neil, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at Crieff on the 7th, and of course at Eastwood on the 29th and 30th. Thank you so much for your time today. Take care.
No problem at all.
Speak soon. Cheers.
Thanks very much. Thanks, David.